but I'm going to do my talk. So the poem is Robert Frost, The Road Less Traveled. That's what I call the poem. I'm not sure what the name of the poem is, but I call it The Road Less Traveled. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler. Long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. Though as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves. No step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So in this moment, settle gently into stillness. Allow your breathing to soften. Inhale slowly, exhale completely. Again, breathing in peace and breathing out anything you no longer need to carry. Imagine yourself standing in a yellow wood, much like the one in the poem that we just read. Golden leaves shimmer in the light, and two roads diverge quietly before you. The forest is calm, ancient, and alive with wisdom. For a moment, simply stand there. Notice that both paths disappear into mystery. Neither reveals its ending. Neither promises certainty. And yet, both are held by the same earth beneath your feet. As you breathe, reflect on this. Unity is not found in forcing every path to look the same. Unity is remembering that all sincere journeys belong to the same sacred forest. Inhale gently, exhale slowly. How often in life do we fear the crossroads? We wonder whether we're choosing correctly, whether others understand our direction, whether we're walking alone. But Spirit whispers something deeper. No soul truly walks alone. The trees surrounding both roads drink from the same hidden waters. The sunlight touches both paths equally. Even the wind moves freely between them. Feel that truth within yourself now. There may be people in your life walking different roads, different beliefs, different timelines, different understandings. Yet beneath every difference is the same longing to love, to belong, to become whole. Unity does not erase individuality. Unity honors the sacred connection beneath it. Imagine now that the two roads begin to glow softly, not in competition with one another, but in harmony. One path may be yours today. Another may belong to someone else. Yet all paths can become roads of compassion when walked with awareness. Breathe in that compassion. Breathe out judgment. The yellow leaves fall gently around you, reminding you that change itself is holy. Every season asks something new of us. Sometimes there's a time to choose. Sometimes a time to wait. Sometimes a time to walk forward with courage, even without complete understanding. And still, Spirit remains present. Feel yourself supported by something larger than certainty, larger than fear, larger than even division. Now imagine that somewhere ahead, beyond what your eye can see, the roads begin to meet again. The travelers who once seemed separate discovered they were always moving within the same great landscape of grace. Rest in that image. You're not required to have every answer today. You're only asked to walk with openness, humility, and love. As this meditation comes to a close, place one hand gently over your heart. Silently repeat, may I walk my path with courage. May others walk theirs with peace. May we remember our deeper unity beneath every difference. May love guide us all home. Take one final slow breath in and release. And when you're ready, return gently to the present moment, carrying the quiet wisdom of the yellow wood with you. When you're ready, open your eyes and wiggle your toes. Come back to the here and to the now. My name is Reverend Karol Scotta, and I'm the minister of this church. I'm also moving to Michigan. Both of these are true. Many moons ago, way before I joined the Unity Church, I was a struggling late 20-something spiritual seeker. I sought spirit in books, in meditation with crystals, a little woo-woo. I know. But I read this book called The Road Less Traveled by M. Scott Peck. Has anybody else read it? Yeah. It was groundbreaking at that time for spiritual growth. I was younger then, and so were you. I love this book because it reminded me of the poem by Robert Frost. In short, there were several themes in the book that spoke to me. The first was that avoiding problems never works. We must confront them and we must work through them. Unity takes it a step further and asks the question, what did this come here to teach me? Usually for me, the answer is all about patience. It's always patience that I'm working on. You guys know that by now. But I can confidently say I am more patient than I walked through those doors in 2001. Mm-hmm. 2001. Now, go to 2011 because it took me 10 years to join Unity of the West Side as a member. Because when I join something, I usually go all in. When I commit, I am committed, or I should be committed. One of the two. Shay knows about commitment and that whole comment about should be committed. Well, I signed up for sacred service, teaching Sunday school once or twice a month. I greeted people at the door, but I managed to craftily avoid board service for a whole 5 years. And in 2016, I came off a board at Westside Regional Center as their vendor representative, and that gave me some free time to enjoy some other kind of work. So I joined the board of trustees here. And it's been an interesting ride, to say the least. Fire, pandemic, flood, laughter, love, rebuilding, all of that and more. In 2016, I started taking SEE classes, which are the basic classes, and I took several classes here at the church. Now, I really loved all the classes, but the one that got me hooked on unity was called Lessons in Truth by H. Emily Cady. And Reverend Karen Epps gave that class. I sat and I highlighted in yellow all the meaningful truths. And then I took the class again a few years later. That time I highlighted in blue. I took it again in ministerial school as a requirement, and I taught it once here for our members. And I just want to tell you that somewhere packed in a box that's heading to Michigan right now, there is a book called Lessons in Truth that has every single word highlighted in 4 or 5 different colors. Lesson 12, Unity of the Spirit, is my favorite chapter in this Unity Classic. God is one life expressing through all people, all faiths, and all creation. It is a lesson on outward differences. They matter less once we wake to the indwelling presence. My first lessons in unity asked me to understand who I was brought up to be. Don Miguel Ruiz calls it being domesticated by our families. Beliefs are installed in us. And then, in unity, we're taught to challenge all of those belief systems and our behaviors that function. They function as we go along to get along. The book and the poem, The Road Less Traveled, taught me about grace. The grace that I get from God, the grace that I give to others, and more importantly, the grace I give to myself. I've learned that the more I extend the grace I give to others to myself, the more resilient I become. In 2018, I started the ministerial path, and it would take me 4 years to complete it. I become ordained on the 5th year. First, I had to pass psychological tests, and I managed not to throw up any huge red flags. But there were many parts of me that were flagged by school monitors, by my mentor, and by lots of others as room for much improvement. I can report that there is still room for much improvement, and yet I have improved a lot. Since saying yes to this path, I've had to change my mind, change myself, shift myself, and grow through hard circumstances, usually self-created hard circumstances. But I've managed so far, and I've had some beautiful synchro-divine moments. There were so many parts of the road less traveled that spoke to me, but the overall gist that stuck with me is that I must be brave and grow my spirit by remembering my truth and living that truth in the world. On a much more personal level, I want to talk about some experiences I've had here. These are not in any order, but I do have to mention this first person first. When I look back, I've learned the most from her. Teresa Yuan is my Sagittarius buddy. We do not and have not always agreed, especially in the beginning of my role here as spiritual leader. Remember, there was a lot of spiritual immaturity going on my part. but she continued to show up and have conversations with me. We met in a field of possibility. Respectful disagreement is more valuable to me than any gold or money, and understanding someone you don't agree with all the time is a huge blessing. She's opened me up, gave me better ears, and been patient with the person that I became and continue to become. Teresa's been a true kindred spirit in the love for this church. If she had something to say to me or about me, she said it to my face, and we worked through it. We served together on the board through a firestorm, and I'm proud that she serves on the board today. Proud that I serve alongside her and learn alongside her. And then I get to Jane, who's been in leadership here for 30 years, long before me, and we have kept this church moving forward, especially since she came back onto the board. Jane has taught me about growth and always holds me to my highest good, even if I'm frustrated or sometimes angry. She calmly helps put things together, and I'm proud of the women that we are. Penny Akashi and I traveled with Robin to a Unity Masterclass given by Tony Bain, who is my mentor, still my mentor, and my friend. Penny stepped up when everyone else was silent. She came through hoping to make a difference, and for a while we have made a difference. I've been blessed to see Penny's heart for spiritual growth in her family, and I'm proud to serve on the board with her. Now there's some past board members in the room also. Robin and I were reading the same book when she wandered into Unity of the West Side. We love Tony's classes, sharing good food, and she's someone who's easy to travel with, especially when we go first class. Robin served on the board with me and was president of that board, and we did really good work together, and I'm proud to call Robin my friend. Carol Ann is our prayer chaplain, who showed up and did the work. She's also served on the board of trustees. Carol Ann and I met at the other church, and when it closed, we were blessed that she would drive all the way over this way. We were, and I am, blessed with her power and her presence. Now I have some other folks to mention. Tim, whose music has moved me to tears many times. And you can't talk about Tim without the girl who just snuck in the starlight.
That timing.
Perfect timing. To be called out by the minister on the pulpit. I want to tell you about them though. Music is their ministry, and they teach me about shared passion and love and depth of the soul. Now Jeanette Weaver, who's not here, had a sudden sickness, and she served as greeter, and she's my best neighbor down the street. We bonded over a love for Unity principles and riding in the carpool lane up here. Annika, and you can't mention Annika without thinking of Elena, so we're gonna bless her, Elena. Annika, whose light is as bright as her soul. She's been a loving presence in this church and served as a greeter and as a source of love and energy. When I look around the room on Sundays and I'm doing a talk, if I need a zap of energy, I just look at Annika and I get that light, that zap. Jan Wetzel, who served as a prayer chaplain here. Johnny, who's been a huge help. Zia, who steps in and helps. And she served on that hospitality team for a long time, keeping the snacks going and the kitchen clean so that we could all enjoy fellowship. I appreciate her passion and her service. Liz Taylor, who's not here, but is our connection with Maxine. Maxine's last words to me, Maxine was the mother matriarch in this church, And I had just gotten onto the board and was voted president of the board, and Maxine held my face and looked at me with these beautiful blue eyes. You think I've got blue eyes? She had the most beautiful blue eyes. And she said, "I am very pleased." And then I knew I was in trouble. Teresa Blackwell, I will miss her spunky attitude and her body ways, and I want to grow up and be just like her. She don't care what any of us think. And you might not know Shirley Peters. Shirley Peters is a member of this church who keeps giving to this church and supporting this church, and has not come back since COVID. But she is a member of this church just as all of you sitting here, because she's with us all the time. I'm going to be missed being able to be there for her just in case. She's my Michigan buddy who is still a member here. And I want to talk about some of the people with classes. Andy, who gave me the best night's sleep from his class. If you ever get a chance to take that breathwork class, I got a 95 score when I did the breathwork class. So I want to mention Andy. Jameis, who came in new with the estuary group, and it's thriving. It's thriving. Terry Miles, who I conjured up through 4 or 5 people I had to go through to find Terry Miles. I knew A Course in Miracles belonged here. I knew at one point it came to me in a dream, and I said, I'm gonna go about making that. I didn't know nothing about Course in Miracles. I knew this was something that I could not do, but I set out to do it and bring it to this church. And I did that. 3 or 4 people finally landed me with my friend Terry Miles, who I'm so happy to say, in my new place in Michigan, I'm gonna have a beautiful Terry Miles artwork piece right above my altar. A Course in Miracles was meant to be here, and it's healthy under her kind and wise stewardship. Last, but certainly not least, is Sarah, who I adore. I'm probably her biggest fan, and I've only heard a few of her songs, but I'm probably her biggest fan. I'm a Sarah fan if she sings, hums, yodels, or just stays silent, because her presence is love. I could not have done my work here without her, and I can only tell you that as her #1 fan, she will never ditch me. I will always know where she is, and if she needs me, I am there. Today's not an easy day of an easy month of a not so easy year for me, for I am in transition and I am growing. Now, if I didn't mention you, I'm going to mention you now. I have loved you, Unity of the West Side. I have loved you all. I have prayed for you. I have had you on my heart. I have led and stewarded this church with you in mind. I've done my best and worked as hard and as smart as I could have so that we could enjoy this spiritual community. But I know that I know that I know I'm complete here in Los Angeles, and I'm grateful that the road less traveled brought me to this front door. And I am continuing to serve Unity through my service on the Unity Board of Directors. This board is leading in a very exciting and dynamic time in the Unity movement, and I'm blessed to be in servant leadership as the secretary of that board. And I have loved you all the way God loves you. And I will always help Unity of the West Side if I possibly can and I will continue to serve remotely at the pleasure of the Board of Trustees. I'm going to end with a blessing on all of you. That's one of my favorite prayers. I have faith in you because I have faith in God in you. I do not pray for you to be better than you are. I pray for you to be as good as you are. I pray for you to express your true Christ self. I do not pray for you to be happy in the way I think your happiness lies. I pray for you to follow your indwelling light, which always leads to fulfillment and happiness. I do not pray for you to be free from responsibilities. I pray for you to be free from worry and anxiety, to be the fearless, wise, confident, capable being that you are in spirit. I do not pray for you to conform to my idea of success and achievement. I pray for you to express and expand your God-given abilities and talents in your own unique and wonderful ways. I pray for you knowing that you are beloved of God. I bless you without reservation, and I love you as God loves you. Thank you for letting me speak today.
So, you can hear from her, Reverend Karol's history here and the things that she's done and the things that she's inspired. I don't need to go over all of that again. But I will say that her time here and her presence here in person, which we will get continued virtually, but has been nothing short of inspiring and generous, to a point where most of us have no idea what she has actually done to contribute here. And those of us who do know are gobstruck. Is that the correct term? Godsmacked. That's the right one. Godsmacked. She has been patient. She is extremely well organized. She is insightful. She's a very strong leader, not just spiritually, but of this organization, Unity of the West Side. And in Unity, as many of you know who have been Truth students, Unity does not allow or tolerate the sense of being a victim. It just has been challenged out of us. Instead, the expectation is to shift to a higher level of consciousness, which isn't easy, and it's also not comfortable. And Reverend Karol's approach has been to challenge us to return to unity principles of understanding and growing and expanding and recognizing our divine right, our divine birthright, our divine inheritance as supernatural divine beings. And as I say, sometimes that's just not comfortable because we maybe don't believe it. But she has inspired in me the ability to be more comfortable with recognizing the divinity, just not in myself, but in everyone else and in others. And that's where the true divine love resides, is in those experiences. And we just want to give you a special thank you. Henny, come on up. And now we know all your vases are probably packed, so we're gonna have to borrow one from a neighbor. But we want to just give you this special bouquet that represents the diversity and beauty of this community, and it has been in your arms, and it continues to be in your arms.